Now we're going to simplify expressions with decimal numbers. But before we practice simplifying expressions, let's review our order of operations, the steps in which we take to simplify expressions. The first thing we want to do is we want to start within the parentheses. Then we either multiply or divide, whichever one comes first. And then we either add or subtract from left to right. So looking at this expression, we would start out with the parentheses. So we would add 6/10 plus 1/10, which would give us 7/10. Then we want to make sure that we drop down our expressions. Okay, now that we're looking at this new expression, what would come first? Would we divide or add first? And if we go back to our chart, we would divide first because dividing comes before adding. So if we divide 51 divided by 3, that is 27, and then we would drop 7/10. Then our last step would be add 27 and 7/10, which would equal 27 and 7/10. All right, let's practice another expression. Again, let's review our order of operations. We start out with parentheses, multiply or divide, whichever comes first, add or subtract from left to right. So when we look at this expression, we have subtraction, dividing, or adding. Which of those operations would come first? Well, we don't have any parentheses, so then we have to decide, are we multiplying, dividing, adding, or subtracting first? And in our chart, we show that dividing comes before adding or subtracting. So we would divide 2 divided by 2, which equals 1. Then we would drop our numbers down and make a new expression. So now we have 10 take away 1 plus 8/10. So looking at our chart, what would we do first? Add or subtract? But we would, because there's no parentheses, we would do what comes first. And what comes first is to subtract. So subtract 10, take away 1, and that is 9. And we would drop the rest of our expression down to make a new expression. Then we would add 9 plus 8/10, which would be 9 and 8/10.